Live from the PCTV studios, the Monday Morning Quarterback. Your host, Dave Ridenauer.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show. I'm Dave Ridenauer, the Monday Morning Quarterback, and we got a great show planned for you tonight. We're going to talk to Pottsgrove coach Rick Pennypacker after his certain retirement after 29 years at the helm, walking the sidelines over there in Pottsgrove. We got a couple special guests waiting in the wings as well. We got a great show planned for you tonight, so sit back and enjoy the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show.
Stay tuned for more Monday Morning Quarterback right after this.
At Vlahos Dunn Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Dunn Insurance, and we're in your community.
So you're officially married. Congrats! It's time to combine things. Your last names, your toothbrush holders, and your health insurance. When you combine policies, you can save and live happily ever after financially. Use the red key for more money-saving tips. Find yourself impulse buying uncontrollably? Here's a tip from Ben Franklin. Carry me in your wallet. Big bills are harder to give up. The next time you're tempted to impulse buy, you might not want to break a Benjamin. Use the red key and save.
All right, we're in the home stretch here of another season, the Monday Morning Quarterback. I can't believe it goes so fast. The 2017 season is almost over. 3 shows, 2 more after tonight, so we have a lot of fun and a lot of things planned for you here in the studio, back in Pottstown for my studio show. And again, as I mentioned, Rick Pennypacker is here. Rick, after finishing 29 years at Pottsgrove, and I'm going to get some insights from him on those 29 years and maybe what's going on a little bit in front of him as he looks forward to the future as well. But I want to introduce again, no introduction necessary really, but anyway, Rick Pennypacker. I guess, do I have to say former head coach now, or is it official yet?
It's official.
It's official?
Yes, it's advertised.
Is that ink still wet on there? Or
that was tough. That was tough.
Yeah, I bet it was. Did you have to put in an official resignation?
Yes. I had to write a letter, and I gave it. And I didn't even, I just put it on their desk. I put it on the principal's desk, Gary's desk, because it was a tough thing to write. You know?
Well, the one thing I got a question, though, is somebody said they saw an ad in the paper for your position, and you're only worth $8,500. I mean, I got to figure that one out. The new coach is going to be paid $8,200 or $8,500. I said, Rick Pennypacker's got to be worth more than that, isn't he?
I don't think I got $8,500. I don't know about that.
Yeah, somebody said.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
is that
that's what
wow.
they're advertising.
I don't see that.
According to somebody told me anyway, the new position at Pottsgrove, $8,500 for the head coach.
Listen, and I will tell you, Dave, that is probably high among some of the Pac-10
I know
coaches,
it is. I'm sure it is.
There's not much money in this business.
Unless you get into college and see all the craziness going on there. And you see the guy from Arkansas gets $11.8 million buyout number. And Jimbo's going to Texas A&M for $75 million guaranteed.
Yes.
There's some money to be made up at that level, that's for sure. But I was a little surprised just to have to give you a little business there that $8,500 for your replacement. Certainly not enough money to pay for that guy and you as well.
You don't do it for the money.
I know you don't.
No
I know
coach
you
does it
don't.
for the money. I don't even know what I make. You know, that check goes to my wife and she takes care of it. So
that's a good thing for her
Yeah.
as well. Well, let's finish up the end of the year.
Okay.
You know, we haven't had a chance to talk to you too much since the end of the year. We had obviously we had our awards show, and Rasul Faison certainly had a great year. 42 touchdowns, nearly 3,000 yards. We all know what he did, but certainly you had a big part in that, Rick. As you finished your last season at 11-2. One of the last home games, I guess the last home game, is when your former players came back, and I'm sure that was a very emotional time for you. Let's start right there. Tell me a little bit about how that went there, your last home game, and all your former players coming back, or a lot of them anyway.
Yeah, well, you know, it was kind of kept a secret to me. I did not know this was going on, and when I walked up, I saw some of them standing out there outside the tennis courts when I was walking up, but I didn't see as many as I thought when I got up on the field. But when I got up on the field, they had all those guys out there in the tunnel. It was pretty emotional for me, you know, to see those guys and to watch them to come back and you know, the coldest night of the year. It was freezing cold that night. For them to come back, that meant a lot to me.
I'm sure it did, and you know, I as a former coach and teacher myself, you know, sometimes you don't realize it in the moment until afterwards, and you hear some people. I still have former students and former players of mine come up and say things to me, and it certainly does make it all worthwhile, and you certainly know all about that.
Yeah, you know, when you, because as a coach, you don't really, I tell people this all the time, as a coach, you don't know if you've done a good job or not until after kids graduate.
Yep,
you know, and then when they graduate, you know, if all you got when you played football in high school was a letter or a championship jacket, then your years of playing football was not worth it. You know, if you get the other things, the intangibles, you know, you learn what hard work is. You learn how to be a good husband, a good father, a good citizen in the community. Those kind of things are what makes me proud. And believe me, those kids that I have coached, and I know Coach Bernat and all the other coaches around here will say the same thing. That's what makes you proud.
Absolutely. Well, you know, it's funny because when my kids are with me and I'm somewhere, and somebody who's an older, I mean, I was pretty young when I first started too, so the age differences weren't that great. But you know, just show guys in the 50s that are 50 now that I coached and taught, and they still call me Mr. Ride now. You know, and I that's the ultimate compliment to me.
Right.
You know, still that respect, and you certainly know all about that, Rick, and all the players that you've touched over the years, and how many of them say you were a second father to them and all that stuff. That's what it's all about.
That made me feel good. But you know, the thing about coaching is, Dave, this is my profession that I wanted to do. I wanted to be involved in, because when I was a kid, you know, the coaches in my community were the ones everybody looked up to. You know, Coach Bainbridge, Coach Stippa, Coach McNelly, all those coaches, you know, they were like put on a pedestal in our community. And that's what I'm not, you know, not just because he's here, but and my dad would always talk about, you know, Henry Bernat and Joe Edwards, you know. These are the guys that I wanted to, that you put on this pedestal. That's what I wanted to do. And, you know, I had an opportunity to go into college when Coach Bowden when Coach Bowden left West Virginia to go to Florida State. He offered me a GA job down there. But I decided to stay in high school, and I think I made the right decision.
I think you did as well. It certainly is an awesome thing. Well, let's talk a little about the end of the year. All right, you win the district. You know, you have that tough game with Interborough, which you know, became a pretty good rivalry. Got a little nasty, got a little dirty, but that's all part of football, I guess. And you have to overcome all those things, and then you play Upper Perk again, which is a good football team, and somewhat maybe underrated to a lot of the people in the area. Did not know how good Tudelo and Wary and Kendra and all those guys were. Tell us a little bit about that district championship game first.
Well, you know, when you play a team a second time, you know, it's always, and when you beat them, we beat them pretty handily the first time. When you play them a second time, you worry about your kids being a little lackadaisical, not taking them serious, and it's
well, you had that 2 years
hard.
In a row then,
yes.
right? Yeah, you had that 2 years in a row.
And last year they came down, and let me tell you what, the score is not even indicative of how hard the game that was last year, the second game. So I knew it was going to be. I knew Tommy Hantz and, you know, those guys up there. They have a little pride up there. They're going to get their kids pumped up. They're going to get their kids going. So we went and we as a coaching staff, you know, we tried to really pound the kids into the kids all week that this is going to be a game. But I think they were still a little lackadaisical. Right. But then they found out when they went out there that it was for real. And you know, we got into it a little bit late, but I thought we played well enough to win, and I give Upper Perk all the credit in the world. I give Tommy Hans, they do a great job up there, and they're tough, hard-nosed kids.
Now, do you find that maybe the kids relied on Faison a little bit?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they know how good he is.
Yeah.
They saw what he did. You know, we talked about it. You know, almost 3,000 yards,
Yeah.
42 touchdowns, and you know, and he made some highlight runs that were outstanding. Do you think maybe they got into that? Well, we got Rashul, so we're okay.
And listen, Coach Pennypacker got in that way too. I mean, I've said to myself, you know, well, give the ball to Rasul. Rasul will take us where we want to go, you know. And Rasul will tell you, and I know that, but the kids up front, they're the ones that made Rasul this year. Rasul did some great things, but those guys did a great job. So it was a challenge for us, you know. And I know if I was Tommy Hans up there, I'd be saying, hey, you know, Pottsgrove thinks this, Pottsgrove thinks that. You know, he's got his kids all jacked up, and they came in there late. They didn't come to the stadium until 10:07. They got off the bus, walked right on the field, and played. And it was a tough game. But we had played a tough game the week before, and you know, it's hard to play those two tough games at the end of the season. That was a brutal physical game the week before. And then you go play Upper Perk, it was the same way. So.
Well, then obviously you win the district again.
Yeah.
And then you got to go into the states, and you never get a good first draw. I'll tell you, you know, between the Archbishop Woods and the Bethlehem Catholics, you know, it's a shame that you know, you're a public school. You know, you are who you are, and next thing you know is you're playing Archbishop Wood, who was drawn from all over the place. Now you're playing Bethlehem Catholic the last 2 years, who was drawn from all over the Lehigh Valley, and you know, it's just, you know, your quotes were on point. You know, we were outmanned, we were overmatched.
Yes,
they're a little better than us, and what are we going to do? You know?
Yeah, I can't say anything about our kids. You know, when I look at our kids up front there, you know, they had these kids 6'6", 305 pounds, and I have a 185-pound defensive end or tackle that's 220. You know,
have a Demetrio in the middle.
Our kids were doing exactly what we wanted to do. Right. They just couldn't get off blocks. They couldn't get around blocks, and you know, so we were overmatched. And you know, and I don't know what we can do to you know, overcome that. You know, we play up to our potential, and then we go into this, and maybe. You know, I don't know. It's up for the PIAA, and I know there's a lot of things going on out there. There's a lot of people saying, but I don't want it to sound like it's any, you know, any bitterness between.
No, there's no sour grapes. I understand,
you know,
but I said the same thing to everybody else. I said they get to their max, they get to the ceiling, and you have to give them credit because this is how far they're going to go. Unless they get some really fortunate break where they don't have to play one of those parochial schools, then you have a shot.
Right, you have a
shot. Of moving on, but sooner or later you're going to have to run into those.
Well, like
people.
my son was telling me, my son Matthew, after that game, he come up to me and says, "Dad, you know the Cinderella story of a high school team from a small town, and especially in 4A, 5A, 6A, single, double, and triple A, you'll get this. But in the upper divisions, you're not going to have that Cinderella story where kids go to state.
There's no Hoosiers. There's no Hoosier stories in this.
And like Pottstown basketball, I'll never forget when Kenny Davis had that team here, and everybody was all excited about that. Now today, you're getting all these charter schools, all these prep schools, all these schools, and they're just they're small. The public schools are going to be washed out. So.
Well, tell me a little bit about the irony of the game as well. Then it ends at Springford High School, the place that you first got your start. You lived right down the street, and you always dreamed about being a football player there. You got your dream and played good high school football. Went to West Virginia. Tell us a little bit, how emotional was that for you? That all of a sudden now my career's over, my year's over, and at Springford High School where it all started.
Well, you know, it was emotional to me because my family was there, and then I had some guys from West Virginia were there. So the kid that played quarterback at West Virginia, Danny Kendra, and the running back from West Virginia, RDO, was there. And that got to me a little bit. Then a lot of my players were there, you know, to still say goodbye and everything. But you know, playing Springford, that's over with. You know, that's down the road. You know, I've been played on that field I played on that field so many times, and I know that it probably was more emotional for some of my family members than it was for me. But you know, things have changed down there at Springford. I mean, you got that nice turf field, and you know, it wasn't like that when I played.
Days, that's for sure.
All the rocks out there.
That's it.
No more.
Well, you know what, Rick? Let's take a quick time out and let's bring Coach Bernat up here. He wants to talk a little bit about your career. We're talking his career. We're talking about coaching. We'll have a lot of fun. We got a big night planned here where we're going to honor Coach Pennypacker for all he did for Pottsgrove and the whole area for the Pioneer Athletic Conference and all the things that he did as well. So we're going to take a quick time out. We're going to bring Coach Henry Bernat up here, formerly of O&J Roberts, and we're going to have some fun right up here on set here on the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show.
Stay tuned for more Monday Morning Quarterback right after this.
Fred Beans Ford of Boyertown is located on Route 100, just 2 miles north of Boyertown. Fred Beans Ford provides automotive sales, service, parts, and body shop all in one place. They're open 6 days a week. Fred Beans Ford in Boyertown can be reached at 800-222-0243, 800-222-0243, or online at fredbeans.com.
Doc Watson's is one of the hottest new sports bars around. Located next to Zern's Market in Boyertown, Doc's offers something for everyone. From live entertainment to countless draft beers, from great burgers to the new outside patio, from the numerous TVs to the friendly Doc service. Doc Watson's is the place to be. So stop by Doc's today for a leisurely lunch, a quick cold beer, or a great bite to eat on a nice fall night. Doc Watson's.
Welcome to the office of John H. Greismeyer Jr., where we believe in the value of relationships. We take pride in giving you the assistance you need, where that involves income tax, payroll, or financial statement preparation. Located in Boyertown, we're committed to meeting the needs of the people in our community, and our team of skilled financial professionals look forward to working with you. John H. Greismeyer Jr. Call us or visit our website now.
Hey, we're back here in our PCTV network studios here in Pottstown High School. Dave Ryan, our Monday Morning Quarterback, and we're talking to Rick Pennypacker. And we are honored to have a former O&J coach and a good friend of mine, Henry Bernat, also a very good friend of Rick Pennypacker's. And Coach, it's been a while since we did our Thanksgiving Day preview shows where we used to have a lot of fun, but it's always great to see you. Coach told me he just had his 88th birthday. You're doing well, Coach. You're doing well, and always good. That's good. That's all good as we get ready. But you know, Coach, it's fun to talk to guys who were on the sidelines for many years. Both you two guys certainly made impressions on the schools that you left, and you know you both have fields named after you. And tell us a little bit about how that makes you feel, Coach. We talked to Rick about you still have guys come up to you at those games and want to sit and say hello. And tell us a little bit about that too, Henry.
Well, that's first of all, that's what the Thanksgiving Day game was. You would see all your former players, and you ask most of the players, the game they remember most is the last one, and that was your Thanksgiving Day game. And like I said to you earlier, there was a tremendous crowd at the O&J Pottstown game, and which is a tradition, which people come back, and it's an affair that they come to these games. And so I'm sorry to see it go. I mean, something could be done to play, but it was nothing like having a Thanksgiving Day game. With all the traditions, when he played Pius, Springford played Phoenixville, Pottstown and us and so on. These were traditions. These went on for years and years. And before I go on any further, I'm going to congratulate you on having this show and for being nice to the kids in this area.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Which do a tremendous things for these kids, giving them awards and so on. And I'll get to you in a little while.
What I tell you, that means a lot to me, Henry, because you and I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
It's a tremendous job. Even though you're wearing a
I know.
We noticed that.
I know.
If I get Henry one, he won't wear it.
I know. Well, they asked me to be. They had a championship dinner, and they asked me to be the guest speaker, and I had a laugh. I said, "Sure, I'll do it." And Rick and Gary gave me a shirt and a pair of gym shorts. So I said, I got to break it out for Rick's night there. And
looks good on you.
Yeah, thanks.
Looks
That's
good on you.
I appreciate that. But it is a lot of fun. And you guys have always been helpful. And whenever I needed anything, called you guys. I appreciate all the fun we had.
And that besides, I also like to congratulate Rick. He had a great year this year. But I'm going to go back further than that. I remember you over 50-some years ago when you were linebacker at Springford.
I remember.
And when Bobby Stippitt took you under his wing and took care of you, when you were in high school, you had a great high school career, you had a great college career, and a great coaching career because of one thing. You let the kids do the work, and you admired the kids for what they did.
Just get out of the way. Let them
and that to us as Coach Rick will attest to this. You see a kid that you've had out there, and whether he's a carpenter, whether he's a graduate of a college, whether he's this grateful, he comes up to you and he says, "Coach Pennypacker, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for." I can remember you remember the sports writer Kenny Murray.
Yeah, Ken Murray. Heck yeah.
Kenny Murray came out for football one year, senior year, and he was no more a football player than this ball was. But he stayed out, and we put him in for one play against Pottstown. And he thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And to this day, and it's amazing. And this is what the whole idea of high school sports is. It's for the kids.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to it. And Rick has done a tremendous job. And
well, I know both you two guys, excuse me one second, Coach. Both you two guys, I think, are very similar in your approaches and the way you handled things. And I think that's why it was so great that we were able to get you up here too, Henry, when we're going to talk to Rick a little bit. Because, you guys coached. You guys coached kids, but you also had their backs. You were there for them, and you cared about those kids. And that's the things I admire. And I remember even back when we were coaching against one another, Henry, we'd go down to the Spring City Libs for our coaches' meetings, and we'd sit there at the same table with you guys, and we'd have a great old time. And we had a lot of fun. But when it came down to it, you did what you had to do on the field with the kids, and that's what we did. And that's what I admire about you guys so much.
This is what blew my mind the most, Dave. I came back here in 1989. We went over to O&J to play Henry, and Henry doesn't know this, but to me, he was the coaching god to me. My dad talked about Joe Everett, Henry Bernat, Joe Everett, Henry Bernat. That's all he ever talked about. So, we would come home from Thanksgiving, we go watch Springford play, or we go watch Pottstown play O&J. We had to go watch Henry Bernat. That's all my dad talked about. So I get the first chance of playing Henry Bernat, and they had Israel Soto, and they had all these guys. They're running around, they're scoring touchdowns all over the place. And the game's over with, going out to the middle of the field, and shook his hand, and Henry said, "I'll meet you at the Friendship Firehouse." And 2 hours later, I'm down at the Friendship Firehouse with him, and I'm there.
Yeah.
This is heaven. But the thing that I tell people a lot, every coach today, these young coaches, and I get upset when I see this. Everyone wants to learn the tricks of the trade, but nobody really has learned the trade of coaching. Right. You got to be around somebody that knows the trade coach, Jim Mick, Henry Bernat, Bobby Stipp and Merle Bainbridge, Jerry Seislov. These guys, they know the trade of coaching. Yeah. They know there's more than X's and O's, and I learned that, and I studied coaches. I studied him. My funniest story with Owen J. And Henry, I don't know if he remembers this. We were playing Owen J. my senior year, and Bobby Stipp is about 4'8", and Joe Edwards is about 4'9", and they're at the middle of the field yelling at each other, across, and here's all of us big old guys are there. And these two guys are about ready to fight, and they're best of friends. But it was hilarious. Yeah. And that's what I miss about coaching today. It's gotten to be so. I don't know.
Well, I know. I attended meetings for all the old Chestmont League, which
you
all
attend
three
the
of
ones
us
now.
exactly.
Yes.
And we're all three Chestmont League guys.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. And we were not happy when they broke that league up and started this new league. And now this league's even sort of dispersing a little bit. But we were old Chestmont League guys, and you talked about the Al Blacks and the Mike Hancocks and all those guys. And I would sit down there. I was fresh out of college, and I would sit there and listen to these guys, and I'm learning all kinds of stuff.
You go.
You think you know a lot about the game,
absolutely,
but you don't know about the game, No. And I used to love sitting there, and the hardest part was trying to get Henry to get up and get a pitcher of beer for us. So Danny and I had to go get the beer, and Roosevelt, we're getting the beer, so we have Edwards and Aloysius and Bernat hanging out with us, and Mike Hancock and talking football. Those were precious moments.
Exactly.
They were precious moments, man.
We would go to the clinic up in Hershey, and it was all of us would go, and there would be 35, 40 coaches from the Pac-10 there just sitting around having fun.
Yeah.
Just, and that camaraderie was unbelievable. I mean, don't get me wrong, on the field we all wanted to beat each other's
absolutely.
butts. I mean, but those days are kind of
I agree.
It's changed.
But I'll tell you, the beginning, like you said, the coaches in the Chestmont were really tight.
Yeah.
I mean, you could kick the heck out of each other on Saturday, but you went and you talked, you had a meeting, and you left that meeting. But at one time, I don't know whether this is right to say or not, but the Chestmont was an athletic directors league. The ADs ran it. Maury Grigg was one of the originals, and he ran the league. He was the president of the league, and then that's the principal of the league that takes over. I can say these now because I don't care.
Well, you know what? We did get down to Springford and got an opportunity to talk to a couple of people down there. Let's hear what some of the guys said. We got a chance to talk to Chad Brubaker, who is the head coach at Springford. Let's hear what Chad had to say when we went down there to visit Springford the other day.
Hey, Rick. Just wanted to wish you a happy retirement. I think the first thing that you should do is take Ann on a long vacation to the destination of her choice and wine and dine her like she's taking care of you during football seasons for the past, X amount of years. I wish you the best. Use this time to rest and recover from all these grinding football seasons. You deserve it.
That's Chad Brubaker, the head coach at Springford. Again, who you had some run-ins until the last couple of years when we went divisional play. Chad's done a nice job. He's going to be the senior. He's going to be the senior guy now in the Pioneer Athletic Conference. After you
I got a funny story about Chad. I got to tell you a story.
Man's leaving.
Funny story about Chad. Ross and Chad we're close. Ross and Chad lived up in West Reading, near Chad did, where Chad lives when he was at Kutztown. So I guess it was there was a party that they had. Ross went to. My wife and kids. My wife and my daughter went. And Chad's girlfriend is a girl named Joey, who's a sweetheart.
Yep.
And my wife and my daughter just got to be around Chad and saw him in a different way other than a Springfield football coach. So my daughter says, "You know what, Coach Brubaker, you're not that bad." And he said, "What do you mean?" He says, "You're not as bad as my dad says." And my God, Chad never let me live the end of that. He never let me hear the end of that. But you know what? Chad does a great job.
Yeah, he does. He does.
He does, and I think he's elevated this team, this league a
Yep.
little bit with the.
But he's a different kind of guy than us, though, because he's more playoff driven than he is Thanksgiving Day driven and league play. You know, we all were about league championships and Thanksgiving Day games. That was number one. He sort of is, which is not. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but he has a different direction that he likes to go. And he, you know, coming from Berks County, where they didn't have Thanksgiving Day football, they didn't have the traditions that we did. He's going a different route.
The thing that gets me, Chad, is he's a smart kid.
Yeah, he's smart.
He's a very smart guy.
Yeah,
he's a very bright guy. I would love to know what his SATs were, because he is, you know, he comes up with numbers. He's a sharp guy. Me, that brain of mine doesn't move that fast. I just can't do that. But
now, do you miss coaching at all, Henry? You know, I mean, it's been a while since you coached, but I mean, you still get out there and watch games. I mean,
well, I still watch the games, and of course, I sit up in the bleachers sometimes with the people that really know the game up there. And no, I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say to myself, I would do this. I would do that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Why is he doing this?
Right.
There must be a reason. I'm not going to condemn the coach.
Right.
That was his reason for doing something.
Yeah. Any advice? Any advice for your buddy over here now that he's going to be giving it up for a little bit?
His other half will take care of all of that.
they all know her. They all know her well.
Yeah,
happiest woman in the world.
Well, you know, we've talked about it before, and you can't be a good football coach unless you have a great wife and a great family support system.
Question about it.
You know, I go from Kenny
that.
Davis to Jim Mick to Hank Bernat to Rick
you.
Pennypacker. Yeah. Every guy that I've ever known that was really a successful coach and had a long career, they had a great wife and a great family support system.
Boy, that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, you know, my family.
I never made it without the wife and I. She dragged 4 kids to the game for years.
Take care of things, and you know, plus
we're sitting. Our family's sitting around thinking, what are we going to do on Friday nights?
Yeah.
Because for the past 40 years, it's been Friday night football. You know, and it's grandkids and my sons, Matt and Ross, and my daughter Elizabeth, my wife. You know, she's probably. You know, she's probably the reason why I'm here. People don't realize, and I'm telling these assistant coaches who think, oh, I'm just going to jump in this job and take it. You better have a wife who is 100% willing to sacrifice for you. Because I can remember as a young coach, a very young coach, when I had 3 children, and I'd come home from work, and then I'd be in the practice all day and come home at 7 o'clock at night. You know, and I've been walking in, I can't wait to take a little, just sit on a chair and relax. And there's the 3 kids, you know, and my wife got them off the school bus, got them fed, got them bathed, did their homework.
Yeah.
Here comes Daddy walking in, you know, now you got to, you know, but my wife is a champ.
Yeah.
And Chad's right. I'm going to let her pick a place she wants to go. She wants to go to Niagara Falls.
Okay.
That's not like, plus also Europe and all this.
Right. But okay, you start out going to Niagara Falls and have some fun, and
we're gonna do some
your stuff. Yeah, get a chance to travel. Yeah,
and
well, you know, high school sports is awesome, and you know, the 3 of us have certainly been there. I look at guys like yourselves, and my father died when I was young, so my coaches and teachers were really who raised me. You know, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, they raised me, and I certainly have been who I was and wanted to do the same for kids like myself, and that's why I came back to Pottstown to try to do what I could. But you guys have certainly gone that route, and you know, Henry, I still see when they have, you know, reunions and some of the teams come back from certain years, man, there's one big crowd and it's right around you, man. I tell you, they still talk very highly of you, and and I'm sure that makes you feel good as well. So,
well, like I said earlier, you guys are for the kids, and that's what the name of the game is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's funny. I have 2 guys that coach for me. That coach for me that played for Brent or played for Coach Brent Herring and Bill Bradford, and boy, Brent Herring, the stories he tells,
well, we send them from OJ to help you out a little bit.
Teach him a little bit about how to cover that drag route.
Just run power, run power. That's all Herring says. Run power, just run power.
You talk about assistant coaches. I had 2 of them who were with me for 31 years.
Yeah, you did.
Al and
Joe, yeah.
And I'll tell you, they were 2 great people.
Yeah, they were great guys.
You the biggest thing you'd get a kick out of would be in there for meeting, whatever meeting you could call it. Al would say this, Joe would say this. Never the same. And then they'd get up and walk out and say, Coach, we'll see you out in the field. And then whatever I said, that was it.
Yeah.
But before we went out there,
Yeah,
you don't get people like that.
Well, hold on a second. We got a phone call. One of your former players, Rick, is calling in. He wants to say hello. Jimmy Sermonero, are you there?
Hey, I'm here.
Straight from Miami, Coach. He came
You in Miami?
He came all the way up from Miami to say hello to you tonight on your show here. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great. It was tough 2 weeks in Florida, but you know, I had to check in and say one last thank you to Coach Pennypacker here. You know, he's one of the best ever, and you know, changed my life forever. So I just wanted to say thank you, Coach. Thanks to you, your family, all the sacrifices you made, and just, you know, putting the whole community on your back over the years. Can't thank you enough, man.
Well, Jimmy, you know, guys like you made me look good. You know, I thank you very much. I appreciate that. But, you know, when you got guys like Jimmy Sermonaro and those guys, quality kids, quality families, quality students. You know, Jimmy went to William & Mary, played down there, was an all-conference player.
Yeah.
You know, just a great kid. I'm trying to get him into coaching.
There you go, Jimmy.
I want him to get into
You got to get yourself into coaching, though.
Get into coaching. He's the kind of kid that
he has the proper mentality for that.
Yes, he does.
Certainly
Yes,
does.
he does.
Yeah, he does.
He stands on the sideline with my sons, and they come up and they got a little advice for me once in a while, you know. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to hold. I'm gonna hold out for a little more than 8,500 though.
Yeah, how about it? You got that right. Hey, Jimmy, I want to thank you for taking a minute to give us a call and talk to Coach Pennypacker, and stop around again, and we'll catch up.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jimmy. That's Jimmy Sermonaro, one of your main players over the years.
What a player he was.
Heck of a good player.
He was a great player.
You know, we were talking a little bit about some of your old players. We talked about Danny Crossman. He's still on the sidelines for the Buffalo Bills.
Right, exactly. Jerry Ostrowski, he's out in Tulsa. I heard he had a radio show, and of course he got out when the getting was good. He tore up his knee. It was against the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember you guys used to take a bus up to Buffalo all the time to see them play, and I remember the Bucktown Boosters and Woody Borman and all those guys, and Coke and those guys loved to go up there to see him play.
They say Jerry, he's the king out there at Tulsa.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to nominate him for the state of Pennsylvania Hall of Fame, but I can't get him to come up here to guarantee his time. You know, you have to be there to accept your award if you would get in.
That's the big thing. And then he's doing football season.
Yeah,
he's not going to
exactly. It's a tough thing. Yeah. All right, well, let's take a quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to have more here with Coach Pennypacker right here on the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show.
Stay tuned for more Monday Morning Quarterback right after this.
So you're officially married. Congrats! It's time to combine things. Your last names, your toothbrush holders, and your health insurance. When you combine policies, you can save and live happily ever after financially. Use the red key for more money-saving tips. Find yourself impulse buying uncontrollably? Here's a tip from Ben Franklin. Carry me in your wallet. Big bills are harder to give up. The next time you're tempted to impulse buy, you might not want to break a Benjamin. Use the red key and save.
The newly remodeled and renovated Creekside Sports Bar and Grill sits on the Landis Creek Golf Course. Featuring live entertainment and weekly specials, the Creekside offers something for everyone. Discounted beer and wing prices during all Eagles games brings a being at the game feeling. With tailgating, big screen TVs, and wearing your team colors, you can bring the fall spirit to Creekside. So stop by the Creekside Sports Bar and Grill and see all the fun things it has to offer.
Fred Beans Ford of Boyertown is located on Route 100, just 2 miles north of Boyertown. Fred Beans Ford provides automotive sales, service, parts, and body shop all in one place. They're open 6 days a week. Fred Beans Ford in Boyertown can be reached at 800-222-0243, 800-222-0243, or online at fredbeans.com.
Back in 1949, Claude A. Reinhardt founded his family business, which has served the Pottstown and Tri-County area for over 50 years, specializing in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting, paper hanging, and brick restoration. Thanks to the commitment of tradition and values, Claude A. Reinhardt Painters has once again received this year's Reader's Choice Award. So if you're thinking about having an estimate or just need some good advice, give Ron or Keith Reinhardt a call and put your painting and decorating needs in our hands.
Welcome to the office of John H. Greismeyer Jr., where we believe in the value of relationships. We take pride in giving you the assistance you need, where that involves income tax, payroll, or financial statement preparation. Located in Boyertown, we're committed to meeting the needs of the people in our community, and our team of skilled financial professionals look forward to working with you. John H. Greismeyer Jr. Call us or visit our website now.
At Vlahos Dunn Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Dunn Insurance, and we're in your community.
Hey, we're back here at the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show. Dave Ride now as we are honoring Rick Pennypacker after his 29 years on the sidelines of Potts Grove. And he's not good at this stuff, but it's okay. We're working through it. And I don't know if many of you got an opportunity to read the newspaper Sunday morning. It was a great article sort of narrating Rick Pennypacker's 29 years and a lot of memorials from different people and testimonials, I should say, I guess. And the guy right beside me, Tom Nash, is the guy who wrote that article for the Pottstown Mercury. And Tom, first of all, congratulations on an awesome article. Thank you. And thanks for stopping by and saying hello to us here on set. First of all, tell us a little bit about your idea or how this came about, or was it assigned to you? How did you get this article to write about Coach Pennypacker?
Well, to be honest, when it started out, Sam Stewart was going to take the reins on it. You know, he knew at the beginning of the year, and then, geez, with about 2 weeks left on the season, he all the paperwork went through. He enlisted the Army.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, my goodness. I didn't know that. I was wondering why I haven't seen his name or him around. So Sam enlisted in the Army.
Yep. So,
wow.
So then that hit my desk, and, you know, I just wanted to take it. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Now, did you have a game plan to go attack this thing, or how did you start this article?
I sat down with him and just picked his brain. Geez, how long do we talk? Maybe
an hour or so.
Yeah,
we just talked about anything, you know, and he was able to take bits and pieces. He did a great job.
Yeah, you did. You certainly did,
a
Tom.
tremendous job.
And it was nice. You got a lot of, like I said, testimonials from former players and coaches and things like that that you got an opportunity. And speaking of a testimonial, I think we have another one from Spring Ford here. Matt is doing a heck of a job behind the glass here tonight, and I think we have another testimonial from Spring Ford for Rick Pennypacker.
Well, I've known Rick since we played Little League Baseball together, where his father was our head coach. And Other than my parents, his father had the greatest impact on my life. Rick and I played basketball and baseball together through our Springford careers. Plus, I've been a friend with him for 50-plus years, and I'm not surprised at the success he has enjoyed during his football playing days at Springford and at West Virginia University. I'm not surprised of his success as a teacher and a coach at Pottsgrove High School. And some of those reasons why is he pays so much attention to detail. He has such a caring attitude for people and has such a positive outlook for all people because he wants to help them become a better player. But more importantly, and this is what's special about Rick, he wants to make them become a better person. He wants them to be the best they can be. And we just knew he was going to make a positive difference in this world. And he has done so at Pottsgrove High School. I have such great respect for Rick as a friend and wish him, Ann, and his family best wishes with his retirement. Congratulations, Rick. It's well deserved.
Add to the list of all the testimonials that we had here, and there's a childhood friend and a guy who really has made a name for himself down at Springford as well, not only as the athletic director, but for the girls basketball program that he has put together down at Springford. And he told me off the air that, you know, how much your father played a big role in him, and you were sort of like a second family for Mickey.
Yeah, my dad was pretty much the same type of person that I am. My dad was coached Little League baseball, and he worked hard down there, and you know, it was. But back in those days, David, you know, you're in a small town. I was in a small town, Roarsford. You're in a community, Pottstown, you know, and you knew everybody, and everyone knew you, and you know, my dad was pretty much one of those guys.
Yeah, it's awesome. And again, I'm sure he'd be very, very proud of his son at this point as well. Now, you know, you had an opportunity to talk to everybody from Chestnut to whomever, you know. Tell us a little bit about some of the good phone calls that you had or the good meetings that you had and who really made an impression on you, Tommy.
Well, the one where I spent the most time, it was the district championship game when everybody came out. And they were all tailgating, you know, they were partying, hanging out. And I must have got 10 of them there. And just the amount of good stuff that was said. But the conversation with Terrell was pretty cool. He reached out to me. He heard I was doing the story because through Scott Maddle. I said, you know, just get me anybody you can. So Terrell sent me some messages. We were going back and forth. And it was cool. Just every person I talked to had so many good things to say.
Where is Terrell these days?
Where is he?
San Diego.
Is he in San Diego?
San Diego.
I knew he had a tryout with the Chargers. And
yeah, and he had some type of illness, and he just told me a couple of weeks ago that he was just getting able to go back and train. So he's back training, and he lost a lot of weight, but he's putting his weight back on. And but there's a kid that to me, you know, if you're going to have a poster boy for my type of player, Terrell's one of those kids. You know, and I do remember the day I kicked him off the field.
Yeah,
I do remember that day vividly.
Absolutely. Tough love never hurt anybody. Huh?
Yeah, and you know, he said something back to me, and I said, that's not going to happen. And you know, and that's just, you know, and I know I'm not an easy coach to play for. I mean, I have a lot of rules. I have a lot of, you know, but you know, the guys that were able to put the team first, the guys that were able to put, you know, put the team ahead of themselves are the ones that are really, you know, played well in our school and went on to do some great things.
Well, you know, another guy that you have made a big impression on, and I know you know his family very well, is on the phone and wanted to call in and say hello tonight. Scotty Reed's on the phone. Hey, Scott Reed, what's going on? All right, we got Pennypacker on here, and we got Tommy Nash from the Mercury here, talking a little bit about his article from Sunday, the well-written article he put, a little testimonial to Rick Pennypacker. But I know you and Rick have a great relationship. I know Rick knows your father's family and all those people very well, too. Tell us a little bit about Rick Pennypacker.
Well, you know, it's crazy to think that an opposing coach could almost be like a mentor to you, but as far as learning how to be a head coach, there's not a guy that helped me more than Rick Pennypacker. And I couldn't say enough good things about that man. He helped me in a lot of ways. And I will tell you, he'll tell you this too, when you're a head football coach, the only other guy who understands what it's like to be in your shoes is another head football coach.
Right.
And there isn't a guy I was probably closer to, other than my own staff, than Coach Pennypacker, and he offered unbelievable help to me and guidance, and a lot of times when I needed it most, because when I started out at Perk Valley, our first couple years weren't too hot, but he's one of the guys that helped me hang in there.
You know, it's amazing. It's great words coming from you again, coming from a father who had been a coach. You know, your father Ron had been a heck of a coach at Pius for all those years, and you know, with Jim Mick and Pasoda and all those guys. So you certainly did have the background and maybe the DNA, if you will, for this profession. But Rick, I know you always enjoyed your time with Scott and enjoyed his successes too, unless they were playing against you.
Scott's a great coach, and you know, I still. I'm upset that he's not coaching. He needs to be back in this coaching profession. We need guys like Scott Reed. But you know, the bad thing about Scott is, you know, we haven't beaten Perk Valley in a long time. Those guys down there have done such a great job with that program that, you know, and he's. I think him and Chad have revolutionized the Pac-10. You know, with their throwing. You know, Henry and I would probably. You know, we want to run the ball all the time, and these guys throw the ball all over the place. And boy, they've done a great job down there. And he's just a great coach.
Well, you miss it. Do you miss it on Proud on those sidelines, Scott?
You know, there's times I'll miss Friday nights, but I don't miss the 8 months that aren't football related.
I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, we were talking about that commitment. Now that it's kind of funny. You know, we were talking about the amounts of money that coaches make, which it's embarrassing for high school coaches because all the time they put in there. They want a 12-month a year coach, but they only give it to you as a part-time coach, and that's the tough stuff. And I know it's been tough for you. I talked to you off air a few times, and you have that desire to get back on there on Friday nights, but you know, from January to August is pretty tough.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, tonight, man, is just focusing on Coach Pennypacker, and it's funny that he says that about us. When in 12 years, we beat him 3 times, so in pure Pennypacker fashion, he'll make it sound like he'll never win a game, yet they did plenty fine against us for many, many years. You know,
well, he does have that crying poor act down pretty good. I mean, every time I see, oh man, we're going to be bad. Oh man, are we bad? We got nobody. I don't know how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that, and they come out and go 11-2.
Those guys, just make sure that little midget team you're coaching over there keeps running that veer. All right, keep teaching those boys the veer.
It's amazing that the impact that he's had on me, that you would be calling a Pius alum to talk good things about the Pottsgrove head coach. So that's the kind of impact
times have changed, haven't they?
Yeah, I know. I even got a Pottsgrove shirt on, Scott. And oh man, I said I got to take this thing off as soon as the show was over. But in all honesty, though, that he has done a heck of a job, and he and Gary put together a pretty nice deal over there for Pottsgrove over the years. But Scotty, I want to thank you for taking the time out to give us a call here, and
Scott,
hang in there. Keep in touch and have a good holiday.
You got it, guys.
All right, man.
Talk to you, Scott.
So tell us a little bit more about any special times this year that you got an opportunity to follow Pottsgrove, other than obviously the game where all the players come out. Do you remember some certain things? What do you remember about Rick Pennypacker as you're doing your little articles and doing games and stuff?
One of the things that always stood out to me was, I mean, it would be easy for Russell Fajon to get all the attention, but he was always quick to point out the offensive line too. You know, these guys are clearing the way. The big boys up front are fighting. It was every single time, and that always stuck with me.
Well, and it did impress me, and I tell you, even when I talked to Rasul about things, first thing he did was he thanked his coaches, and he also thanked his offensive linemen. And well, you know, you had some good ones this year. I think that's, you know what, my personal opinion is I think that's what you're going to miss the most. I know how much pride you took in coaching those offensive linemen, and you got down in the dirt with them and got them to play some pretty good football. I'm sure you're going to miss those relationships with those offensive linemen.
Yeah, those guys are really special, especially those seniors. You know, Ephraim Hurt Ramsey and Paris Janusek. You know, those guys they're pretty special to me. And you know, the cover's not bare at Pottsgrove. They'll have some good guys coming back next year. Whoever takes the job next year, they'll do well. They'll have some kids. Got some good linemen coming up. But just watching those guys go from where they were in 10th grade to where they are now, where they're all league players, that meant a lot to me. And, It's tough. It's tough being an offensive lineman with me.
Yeah, I know. I watched. I've been to a bunch of
too.
your practices. I would go there because I enjoyed it. You guys had a good practice schedule. You guys were moving, and nobody was standing around. And I used to enjoy coming over to your practice. Well, one of your former coaches also wanted to say something to you here, Rick. So we went down to Springford and found one of your assistant coaches, your defensive coordinator for many, many years. Let's hear what he has to say.
Oh, my. Come on, Timmy.
Rick, just wanted to say congratulations. I think making it 29, 30 years plus your time down in Virginia speaks loudly in today's coaching atmosphere. I don't know too many coaches are able to do it in any sport anymore. I truly appreciate everything you did for me as a coach, and I think that probably it goes without saying that you're the epitome of you forgot more than most people know about the game of football. I appreciate the fact that you allowed me to coach with you for so long, teaching me about half of the stuff that you know and then let me run with it. And then probably we had our nice discussions on the sideline, which made people stop and watch every now and then, but it was never personal, and that's what's nice about it. It was commitment towards the program and commitment towards winning and everything else. I do appreciate everything that you taught me. I still use it today, and will continue to use a lot of the stuff. I guess that's about it. Enjoy. I'm sure we'll be playing some golf here in the near future. Have a wonderful Christmas break.
Timmy Hughes, your defense coordinator for a long time, and he's still doing a heck of a job with that girls softball program down at Springford. He's got them rolling, but some nice words from Timmy Hughes, and I'll tell you, it was a great relationship that the two of you had for many, many years, and I know the respect runs both ways.
Yeah, Timmy, I think Timmy needs to be in the Tri-County Hall of Fame. I think that's what he's done in coaching with us, what he's done coaching the softball team down in Springford. He's a pretty special guy.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your career, Rick. Let's go back to the first year. I mean, tell me what you remember about that.
The first year
Your
at Pottsgrove?
first year at Pottsgrove in 1989. You were 2-8-1, according to what Mr. Nash wrote there, and I was able to get some good information from Tommy's article there. What do you remember about that first team way back in '89?
We had 6 seniors. I could name all 6 of them. We were usually in every game at halftime, and then after the second half, we would lose by 20 points. But I think about 8 or 9 of those games, we were either tied or winning at halftime, and then the second half, we would just blow it. But the thing that I remember the most about that was I met with my coaches at my father-in-law and mother-in-law's house. We moved back, my wife and I. We were living at our in-laws' house until we moved into our home in Spring City. And I met down there with them, and I was all excited to meet them and get with them and everything. And I started talking about football and about my defense and how we call, how we run it and everything. And after about 20 minutes, Mike Tommaso said to me, my longtime coach, Mike Tommaso, said, "We don't know what you're talking about." And so I had to teach them all of my terminology and everything, and that was tough. But I mean, I think I coached quarterbacks that year, and Mike Tommaso coached the offensive line, and it didn't work very well, and I didn't do a very good job. But there were some young kids on that team, Tad Doyle, and then we go to the Pac-10 banquet down at the Liberty Firehouse.
Mm-hmm. Was it the Pac-8 then?
That was the Pac-10, I think, because L&J and Great Valley came in, or I forget. I think it was the Pac-10. So we go to that banquet, and Henry gets up and speaks because he was the championship coach. Mm-hmm. And he got up to give a speech. The championship coach always gives the speech at the banquet. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there with Tad Doyle, and Tad Doyle says, "Coach, next year that's going to be you up there." And I'm there, okay, we went 2-8-1, but we did, and we turned it around the following year, and it was a pretty remarkable turnaround. And that's because those kids work so hard. Eric Rigner and Doyle and Thompson and Brian Allen, Chris Beasley, Jerry Steinmetz, all those guys, all that. I know I'm leaving kids out. Eddie Smith, oh my gosh, those guys were just great players. They bought into our system and they played hard. And the one thing that I don't know that has really gotten out there about Pottsgrove, people told me when I took that job, be careful. You don't want to go up there. That's not a great place to coach. But I found it just the opposite. The administration from day one till now has been nothing but supportive. Nothing but supportive. I can't ask for a better administration from the top all the way down. Parents, for the most part, I'm like every other coach. I've had problems with parents, but for the most part, my parents have just been absolutely tremendous. I can't say enough good things about them. And then I've also had great assistant coaches, and Timmy's one of them. And you got guys like Jim Alger, who's been with me from day one, and Mike Tommaso, Billy Hawthorne, Eric Angstrom, Bill Bradford, Brent Herring, and guys that Josh Ford, Preston Moser, two of my players that moved. Those guys are just quality people. And I've always prided myself on hiring people who I thought were people I would want my kids to play for.
Exactly.
And I think I've done that. And they have a great group over there right now. So it's been interesting that it's going to be different for me on Friday nights, but it's time.
Well, we got another call coming in. Let's go to the phones and hear who this is. I believe we got Shane Gross. Shane Gross, one of your boys. Shane, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, we got Coach Pennypacker on the hot seat here.
How you doing, Shane?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. And Shane, Shane was a nephew of mine, cousins to my sons, and I saw Shane growing up. And when they first started playing Little League football, I said to my wife at the time, Cindy, I said, Cindy, he's going to be a good football player. And they were playing over at Boyertown Midgets, and we weren't in the Boyertown crowd, so they didn't know my two sons and also Shane. And then they had Shane playing on a B team or something. I said, that ain't right. He should be on the A team. And he ripped that B team up, and next thing you know, Shane really started to progress. And next thing you know, you became a darn good football player for Coach Pennypacker, Shane.
Yeah, I gotta thank him for that.
You don't have to thank me. Hey, Shane, you're a good football player. Went on to Millersville, had a great career at Millersville, and but again, Shane is out there doing great things.
Yeah,
and he's a great kid.
He's getting married in June.
I heard that.
Getting married in June, which is a lot of females' hearts are breaking, Shane, over that one, dude. But you're getting married in June, and you've always been there and been a good supporter of my kids. Tell us a little funny story, a little something about Coach Pennypacker.
He's gonna get all nervous about what I'm gonna say, probably.
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I got tons of stories, but being that I was lucky enough to play under Pennypacker and have a little bit of success, I remember when I was invited to a banquet to receive an award, and, got to go to a nice little dinner, and was accompanied by my parents and Coach Pennypacker. Player had to prepare a little speech thanking their parents and their teammates and coaches and et cetera. Well, when I started to write down what I wanted to say, why I wanted to thank my parents and Coach Pennypacker, the lists were identical. And that's when it really hit me that Coach Pennypacker was more just a football coach and an educator, but he was a father figure. And I'm sure a lot of former players would say the same exact thing. So. I was fortunate enough to make it down to the playoff game at Springford a couple weeks ago, and watch him coach his last game, and it was truly special. He's truly an incredible football coach, and even a better man. So.
And Shane, I still have the picture of you and Ray Didinger on my bulletin board.
You and Ray Diddy,
Ray
Diddy.
I got that picture. I still have it on my bulletin board.
That's pretty good stuff. Well, Shane, I want to thank you for taking some time out and calling in here and checking on Coach. But you be good and keep in touch, all right?
I
Shane, good luck to you. Thanks for calling in.
That's the kind of stuff that I'm sure you heard a lot of, Tom, when you were talking to the former players and things. And you get a little emotional during all those times. And certainly Shane was a guy that benefited from the program.
Kid.
Yep,
tough kid. That kid was tough.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, one of the toughest kids I ever coached.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I used to tell his mother and father because they were upset because I said, relax, everything will be okay. Yeah. They don't know about this kid over here in Boyertown. And next thing you know is the Riding Hour boys and the Growth boys made a name for themselves over there in the midget football league, and then of course he went on and did some great things as an all-league player for you at Pottsgrove, and that's a good family, very good family.
Great family. You know, he had his brothers played for
Yep,
me, and
yep.
his sister went through Pottsgrove.
Yep.
The mother and father are just great people.
Yeah, it is.
Great people.
So Tommy, before you go, and we have to say goodbye. Anything out there about the coach here that you want to part with? I mean, I know you did a lot of writing and said a lot of things in your article there. Anything special again that you want to say?
I think just like he said on the phone call, the amount of people who told me or used the phrase "father figure" about you, it was unbelievable.
That is.
Everybody, you know, at some point, some way or another, said you were like a father figure. I mean,
that is the ultimate. That's the ultimate thing. And you don't last 29 years in almost anything unless you're pretty good at what you do, particularly in the coaching profession. We talked about it earlier, how your wife was able to handle a lot of things for you to allow you to do what you wanted to do.
She's a peach.
And the family. And Tommy, I want to thank you for stopping by, dude. I'm really happy. And again, some people get a chance to see who you are now, and you'll be writing more and more articles for the Mercury. Are you getting ready for hoops? And okay,
coming up. Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay, and you want to do a little preview?
Job.
Yeah, he does.
Does a great job.
Yeah, he does.
Thanks.
And I used to work with he and his brother down at Ravensclaw. We had a lot of fun down there.
Yeah,
and
his brother's a baseball coach at Pottsgrove.
Yeah,
does a great job over there.
Yeah, it is.
We're all over the place.
And you're a Pius guy, right?
Pius. Yep.
Now, what year did you graduate?
2010. Last
2010.
class.
Now, when was the last Pius Pottsgrove football game? When was that?
08,
08,
something like that.
So that was done before you graduated to Pius.
Whenever they went.
No, but I mean, as far as being a student, you didn't have that experience.
Whenever they went to PJP, I think we stopped it. I'm not sure if did we play.
I don't know if that was a year before, whatever. But anyway, it was in the mid 2000s, I guess. Then is when we stopped that game, and that was a heck of a rivalry as well with the Pottstown and O&J game. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, I'm going to grill Coach Pennypacker a little bit more, and then we're going to say goodbye to him too as well, because he's tired of listening to all these accolades and all the good things that he's been able to do, but certainly well deserved. I'm Dave Ridenour, the Monday Morning Quarterback. We'll be right back after this.
Stay tuned for more Monday Morning Quarterback right after this.
So you're officially married. Congrats! It's time to combine things. Your last names, your toothbrush holders, and your health insurance. When you combine policies, you can save and live happily ever after financially. Use the red key for more money-saving tips. Find yourself impulse buying uncontrollably? Here's a tip from Ben Franklin. Carry me in your wallet. Big bills are harder to give up. The next time you're tempted to impulse buy, you might not want to break a Benjamin. Use the red key and save.
Doc Watson's is one of the hottest new sports bars around. Located next to Zern's Market in Boyertown, Doc's offers something for everyone. From live entertainment to countless draft beers, from great burgers to the new outside patio, from the numerous TVs to the friendly Doc service. Doc Watson's is the place to be. So stop by Doc's today for a leisurely lunch, a quick cold beer, or a great bite to eat on a nice fall night. Doc Watson's.
Established in 1916 and granted membership into the Philadelphia Golf Association in 1920, Brookside Country Club is well known for its challenging layout and true fast greens. The William Gordon design provides a challenge for golfers of all abilities. Brookside Country Club offers traditional club amenities in a family-friendly atmosphere. Brookside Country Club, where elegance and excellence are par for the course.
At Vlahos Dunn Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Dunn Insurance, and we're in your community.
Hey, we're back here having a lot of fun here tonight as we have
Yeah.
poking fun with Rick Pennypacker, who's really being a good egg about this whole thing. And I know he doesn't like all the publicity and all the things around it, but certainly well-deserved, and what a heck of a job he was able to do. And I want to thank Henry Bernat and his son John for bringing Coach over, and then also Tommy Nash as well from the Pottstown Mercury. You know, Rick, looking back, let's look back on this year. And is there anything that you're going to, I mean, what are you going to take out of it? Obviously, you know, you had Faison, you had your guys, Janishek and Hurt Ramsey, those guys that you really, really admired, and Michael Dickey and them. What are you going to remember? Have you got a chance to reflect? Let me ask you that first.
A little bit, yeah. The thing that really got me was this group of seniors. There's 19 seniors on this team. That's a lot of seniors for a small school like Pottsgrove. I mean, I really, really enjoyed how they came with a lunch bucket mentality every day to practice. They, for the most part, those guys came in and worked as hard as they could. And again, we talked about this. Scott Reed talked about it. Henry talked about it. People don't see what happens in January, February, March, where those kids are in the weight room. This group of kids was pretty dedicated about weightlifting, you know. And you take a kid like, you know, Michael Dickey, who came from, you know, a young guy who worked very, very hard to become an all-league player, first-team all-league player, and did a tremendous job, you know. And you know, right on down the line, right. And I know I'm missing kids, but you know, Javon Colbert, what he did at fullback, and Nehemiah Collins when he started playing linebacker last year, I was kind of like saying, whoa, I don't know if he's big enough to play. Then he's a first-team all-league linebacker because of his work ethic. So those are the things that I'm probably, Dave, you know, the thing I'm going to miss the most is the relationship with the kids.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, everyone
No
says
doubt
the
about
kids
it.
keep you young, kids keep you going.
Yep.
You know, Des Austin keeps me.
Right. I know.
Des is my guy, man.
He's a character, all right. But I know even young guys like Ryan Bedolis and them. You know, he and Adams and them are underclassmen, and Cisco. You know, they've really matured into being some good players already as underclassmen, and I know you have you play a big role in that. But also what they're able to do in the off season, and let's ask a little bit about your successor. Are you going to be a part of the process, or
no? It's going to be.
I think that would be hard.
It would be hard.
Yeah, it would be hard. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. It comes
I
down to two guys you coached and you know real well.
Yeah.
That would be difficult.
Yeah, I will give input if I'm asked, but you know, like I say, whoever they get, they just need to know that the amount of time you're going to put in.
Yeah.
Because I used to do this, and this is a bad trait, and I'm sure some other coaches say this, but you know, whenever I didn't want to go to the weight room on a cold, wintry night, you know, where it's supposed to snow at 6 o'clock at night, and I want to get out of that weight room, get home quickly, you know. If I feel a little sorry for myself because I'm doing this and everything, then I think about, well, Chad Brubaker's doing it, and Scott Reed's doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and Rich Kolka's doing it, you know, and everyone else. So, you know, everyone's doing it. You got to do it too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I always felt like if I didn't do it, I'm cheating the kids and myself, and that's.
Now, do you think Pottsgrove wants to attack this quickly? They want to get this done, or what's happening?
I purposely have stepped back. I purposely have not going into the AD's office right now. I have people calling me. I have coaches from all over Pennsylvania who I know calling me, and all I do is say, you know, call Gary Dorenzo, our athletic director, because I don't want anyone to say, you know, hey, you got to help me. You got to help me. I got assistant coaches that are applying for it. You know,
excuse me.
I just want, you know, I got some very close friends of mine. I got friends of mine from out of state that called me about it. That, you know, and I keep saying, hey, you know, to go through the process. You know, and it's, I don't think anyone should get a job because Rick Pennypacker says they should get it. You know, that's up to, you know, that's up to my administration, because Rick Pennypacker's not going to be there. They're going to be the ones working with the kids, so they're the person that has to make that decision.
And finally, Rick, it's a tough question, but how do you want to be remembered? I mean, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, we've heard a lot of things, we've read a lot of things. Obviously, I think I know the answer to that, but how would you like to be remembered?
Well, you know, the wins and losses are not, you know, they all kind of like blend together, really. You don't, when I read some of the things that Tommy wrote in the paper about our successes and everything, I'm there. I skip that paragraph. I know what we have done, but I always felt like if kids get something out of football more than a trophy, a letter jacket, if they learn to be a good person, a good citizen, learn to work hard. We don't teach those values anymore. You know, we are, you know, everybody is, you're involved in teams all the time, and you got to sacrifice to be a part of a team. And if kids learn how to do that, you know, I'm in so many teams. You know, my family is a team. You know, Team Pennypacker we call it. You know, and there's things you got to sacrifice there. You know, if kids are good husbands, good fathers, good parents, you know, that's the kind of thing I want to see.
Well, before you go, I want to give you a little something that you remember. You've been really an asset to me and to what I've been able to do. And whenever I would call you or Gary or anybody, you know, even though I'm not a Pottsgrove guy, I'm a Pottstown guy. You guys have certainly taken me under your wing. I mean, I was a guest speaker at one of your championship dinners and things. And I just wanted to give you something from the Monday Morning Quarterback as a recognition of accomplishment award presented to Coach Rick Pennypacker for 29 years as a head coach, your record and all your accomplishments that you have here. And I just, you know, wanted to have something for you that you can remember all the things, and I hope we'll be able to do more of this in the future. But I wanted to do this
Thank you,
for
David.
you, Rick.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, I tell people outside the state, outside this area, that the number one, that we have a Pac-10 Coach Association, has a banquet that you're in charge of, that our games are on PCTV, that you're, and we have this Monday Morning Quarterback show that my kids get to go on and get honored and everything. And this is what Henry said, the same thing. You know, you guys honor kids, and that's what's important. You know, these kids look forward to coming in here. They look forward to seeing themselves on TV. I think what you have done and what Gus and everyone at PCTV does is just absolutely tremendous. I know my little grandson runs home after the game, and he turns on the game, and you know, he just loves PCTV, and I know he's watching this tonight, and they watch us religiously, and so I thank you. I think you've done as much for high school football as anyone in this area, so I really appreciate it.
I do appreciate that, and it does keep you young, and it has kept me involved in high school sports. And like I said, when my sons graduated from Springford, I was sort of at a loss. I missed all those high school games that I couldn't go see and watch them play, and so I've been able to continue that through my Monday Morning Quarterback and being able to call some games here on the PCTV network. But I appreciate those kind words. But again, that's from me to you, buddy, and I appreciate that. And again, my buddy down there, Charlie Pierce at the Trophy and Plaque Shack, I go down there and ask him to help me with certain things, and we put this stuff together. He and Pat, you know, they're great. And you know, the CGI people that did all my certificates and stuff. I'm very fortunate to have a lot of good people that work with us, and I think they know that it takes a village, and you know, they want to take care of the kids in our area as well. But Rick, again,
thank you. I thank you very much.
Thank
you for this night, for all the guests that called, and Henry, and
awesome.
You know, for you to have Henry Bernat here, that's like
I called Johnny. I was hoping he'd be able to get in here.
That's special to me.
It is. All right, we're going to take a quick time out. When I come back, I got a couple of things I got to talk to my son about. We're going to talk about the Eagles after their tough loss. And Rick, if you want to stay on there and laugh a little bit about the Eagles, we'll do our 5-pack picks. Maybe we'll try to stump Coach Pennypacker right here on the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show.
Stay tuned for more Monday Morning Quarterback right after this.
At Vlahos Dunn Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Dunn Insurance, and we're in your community.
So you're officially married. Congrats! It's time to combine things. Your last names, your toothbrush holders, and your health insurance. When you combine policies, you can save and live happily ever after financially. Use the red key for more money-saving tips. Find yourself impulse buying uncontrollably? Here's a tip from Ben Franklin. Carry me in your wallet. Big bills are harder to give up. The next time you're tempted to impulse buy, you might not want to break a Benjamin. Use the red key and save.
Back in 1949, Claude A. Reinhardt founded his family business, which has served the Pottstown and Tri-County area for over 50 years, specializing in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting, paper hanging, and brick restoration. Thanks to the commitment of tradition and values, Claude A. Reinhardt Painters has once again received this year's Reader's Choice Award. So if you're thinking about having an estimate or just need some good advice, give Ron or Keith Reinhardt a call and put your painting and decorating needs in our hands.
The newly remodeled and renovated Creekside Sports Bar and Grill sits on the Landis Creek Golf Course. Featuring live entertainment and weekly specials, the Creekside offers something for everyone. Discounted beer and wing prices during all Eagles games brings a being at the game feeling. With tailgating, big screen TVs, and wearing your team colors, you can bring the fall spirit to Creekside. So stop by the Creekside Sports Bar and Grill and see all the fun things it has to offer.
And we're back here on set with my buddy Rick Pennypacker as we honor him for his service in the area. Hey, don't forget, we got 2 more shows coming up here on the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback. Next Monday night, the 11th, we will be at the Hooks, the fire company over there in Boyertown. There you are, the Friendship Hook and Ladder Company. We will be having our cook-off. We're having soup this year. We're having a bunch of people make soups, and we're going to have a lot of fun over there as well. And then the following week is the 18th, which is our Christmas show. We will be over at Doc's Irish Pub again in on Swamp Pike in Gilbertsville, right next to the Zerns. We'll have Santa Claus there. Blair Thomas is coming in, former Penn State great and New York Jet. He'll be in-house, and we'll have probably James Coleman and a bunch of people stopping by and having some fun. We have Vuja Day going to be there singing, our girl Kim, singing some Christmas carols and a lot of fun. So the next 2 weeks, as we wind down our last season, no, not our last season, but our final season here at 2017. But Rick, I got my son on the line there. Christopher.
What's going on, Dad? Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Say hi to Coach Pennypacker.
How you doing, Chris?
Coach, it's been a long time since me and Nicholas were on the practice field.
I remember those days.
Well, we had Shane on here earlier, man. Your cousin Shane, he did good. He had a nice little story and remembered a lot of the good things about Coach Pennypacker.
Yeah, listen, I was watching. He told me, he texted me, said he was coming on and stuff. So, yeah, it's everything he said definitely true. I've loved this game for a long time, and I looked at coaches. Coach Pennypacker was like Vince Lombardi to us when we were kids.
Yeah,
letting us do all that. It was definitely something, Coach. And
yeah, it was. And
I remember when you
went to your camps and things.
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and he's a Spring Ford guy too, Rick. So that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I remember him going to my camps. Then I had to play against him. I had to learn how to block him.
Yeah,
and all that. Jeez,
yeah. He and Nicholas, they did
of
well down there,
and very well.
Very proud of those guys. But again, like I said, Shane was a heck of a good football player for you as well. Real quickly, Chris, we're running out of time here. We had so much fun with Coach Pennypacker. What's the atmosphere? You're working in that Philadelphia area. What's the mood in the atmosphere after that tough loss against the Seahawks last night?
Usually it was the same. It was a late night, so a lot of people called out of work this morning, I think. But just they missed opportunities last night. They didn't tackle as well as they had. Just got to be better for next week. That's all.
I tell you, Russell Wilson certainly played well. Like they were talking about maybe Carson Wentz or Russell Wilson or Brady or whatever as a MVP kind of a thing. I tell you, I didn't realize how much Russell Wilson does for his football team.
He's really a magician. I mean, honestly, it's crazy where you think he's dead, he's not, and makes a lot of things happen for that team for sure. And you see all the numbers and the stats. He's got like 70 or 80% of the team's total offense.
Right.
I mean, that's insane. You're like, wow, you got to really see it to believe it for sure.
Well, Rick, as a coach, and I hate to say former coach, but as a coach, he doesn't fit the mold of the normal quarterback stats. But you are a guy that took guys that didn't fit all the numbers. You didn't punch them into the computer, and this guy didn't spit out. Russell Wilson is certainly one of those guys, and probably why he lasted so long before someone wanted to take him in the draft.
Yeah, he's an athlete, and the things he does is gives defense coordinators nightmares. You know, when I see him, break the pocket, I'm there. Well, keep him in the pocket. Keep him in the pocket.
Right.
That's easier said than
right.
done. You know?
He is really something. All right, Christopher. Look, we got about 3.5 minutes to go here. We normally do our 5-pack picks, and again, I want to thank all my good people over there at Izzy's on Third as we do our 5-pack picks. Let's go up against Coach Pennypacker and do a little ride now or 2-on-1 here. All right.
All right, we'll go.
That sounds good.
All right, let's start with tonight's game. We'll let Coach Pennypacker go first. We got the Steelers at the Bengals. Coach?
Steelers.
Coach is going Steelers. Christopher?
Well, we got to go against him, right? So I'll go Bengals tonight.
All right, you're going to go Bengals?
I heard people going to take
All right,
the Bengals.
and I'm going to take the Bengals too, just to go against Coach. We'll
All
go with
right.
the home team. Now, the Raiders and the Chiefs, that is always a bloodbath. It's a heck of a game, an old AFC West game. Both teams are sort of floundering a little bit. We'll let you go first on that one, Christopher. Raiders at the Chiefs.
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Okay, you're going with the Raiders, huh? How about you, Coach?
I'm going with the Raiders. Carl Joseph.
All right, and I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think Andy Reid's going to get them to come back. Carl Joseph is a little West Virginia guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
They're done.
All right, well, now listen. The Steelers have to come back real quick and play the Ravens, which is their arch rival. So we have the Raiders at the Steelers now this weekend. I'm going to go first. I'm going to take the Steelers. That's the game they're going to win. They're going to come back and beat the Ravens. Coach, who do you like?
Not the Ravens, because the Steelers are going to clinch it by then. They're going to have it clinched, and the Ravens got to win to get in.
All right, Christopher.
I'm going to have to agree with Coach.
Okay. All right. All right, and then we have Thursday night, which is a big game. The Saints, who are on fire since they discovered a run game, they play Atlanta on Thursday night.
Wow.
Christopher.
Wow.
New Orleans, too much Kamara, too much Ingram.
Okay. Rick?
I'm going to go against them. I'm going to say the Falcons.
You're going Falcons?
Yeah, got to pull for those Falcons.
All right, and I'm going to go Saints as well, too. I just all of a sudden think this run game is really coming out of nowhere. And now, of course, the big game, the Eagles staying out on the West Coast, they're going to play the upstart 9-3 Rams. Rick, you're up first.
Eagles.
Okay, you got Eagles. Christopher?
Got to go with the Eagles in a big one for sure.
All right, and we'll all agree on that one. All right? All right, Christopher, well, thanks for checking in with us. We'll see how we make out against the legend over here, the guy who has a field named after him.
Hey, Chris, have a good holiday. Stop in and see
you
me
too,
sometime.
Coach.
All
yes,
right.
absolutely. Congrats. Yep.
All right,
Thank you.
buddy.
Nice seeing
Thanks
you.
for calling in. All right, well, like I said, I want to thank you for stopping over, Rick. I know we kept you a little longer than maybe you had hoped to stay.
I
but,
appreciate it.
It was great, and it was, again, great to see Coach Bernat. Tommy Nash is doing a heck of a job. We all miss Don Seeley. Obviously, Don Seeley was our guy. He was a high school guy. He loved the area, particularly a Springford guy. We certainly do miss him, but hopefully young guys like Tommy Nash can pick up the baton from what Don was able to do, and he and Austin Herzog and some of those guys in the Mercury. But, Coach, have a great holiday season. Tell your wife we said hello, and Merry Christmas to you. But he's Coach Pennypacker. I'm Dave Ryan. Now, don't forget, next week we'll be at the Friendship Hook and Ladder Fire Company over there in Boyertown having our soup cook-off. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll see you then.